production.
Hello, everybody, and today we are joined by Ethan, Kevin, Susan, and Craig, and we are discussing 2021's sequel to a 1980s classic. Yeah, we're talking Ghostbusters Afterlife. It's sort of a love letter to Harold Ramis, isn't it? Seeing as he's no longer with us. So let's go to everybody around everybody and see what their opening thoughts are on this this movie. If they enjoyed it, if they didn't enjoy it, who knows? Who should we go to first? Go on, Kevin. You could have just pressed the button, the hand up button.
Wait, can you hear me? Oh, there, now you can hear me. Yeah, I really love this movie. I really cried like a freaking baby at the end of that movie. Well, the important part was like my girlfriend hasn't seen Ghostbusters 1, so we in the first week did like Ghostbusters 1, and then second we did it on Saturday, but we had the showing of Ghostbusters Afterlife at like 3:30, but the movie of the second one wasn't finished yet, so I was like, oh. So at 3 it was finished at 3, and then we had to go on a bike, and then straight after 2 we went to 3 in the cinema, so it was like an over a looping event. That was cool, but yeah, the first scene was like a freaking horror movie. Holy shit! I got scared.
Really?
Not now, but my girlfriend was like, oh my god, and I was like, I expect that it was coming out of the chair, but then this time more brutal. Because over here, the age for this movie is 9 years old. So you have to be 9 years old to see Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Really? No.
Yeah, really, I'm not joking.
It's 12 on here.
Maybe it's now 12. I don't know. Last time I saw it was 9. But yeah, this movie was so good, and especially the ending. I've been through a lot, you guys know that, and that scene hit me real, rock bottom at that point.
Okay.
So yeah, but for overall the cast, the new generation, it was very good. But it from the third act on, it was like full on nostalgia. But it was good nostalgia.
I know what you mean there. Right, thanks for that, Kevin. We'll come back to you in a little bit. Go on then, Susan. Over to you.
Right, I liked it. We just saw it for the first time last night. It was so good. It was really a rich sort of fan service respect kind of experience, and I really liked the way that they kept throwing to the music, all the music little cues, and I also liked all the throws to all the original ghosts. There was Zool, there was the Gozer, there was the gatekeeper and the keymaster. There was a metal eating ghost who shot
Muncher.
Yeah, Muncher. Yeah, funny, and that was kind of a bit like Slimer. And so and the Ecto one was there and stuff like that, so that's fun too. Anyway, I'll keep this short and sweet. I really love this movie. I've really liked all of the Ghostbusters movies to this date, and so that's fun. Anyway, back over to you.
Thank you, Susan. Right, which victim shall we choose next? Go on then, Ethan.
Yeah, I went to see this in Leicester Square I wanted a full-on experience. I heard it was really good, so I saw it at the cinema at Leicester Square, where it was just a massive cinema screen and the sound was incredible. And I'll tell you, last year that it was just one of the best films I've ever watched. And to see this on a big screen like that, it was just so powerful. It was just amazing. And this, as we've said, this is like a love letter, a sequel, Ghostbusters 3, an introduction to the new generation, and it was just done so well. I mean, it's done by Ivan Reitman's son,
Yeah.
Who's seen it firsthand when it first got made, so he knows the stuff. And it's just a brilliant, build up, like it was just like a build up, like getting to know the new generation of Ghostbusters. And then, of course, like the first half, some people thought it was slow, but I liked it. It had a real good pacing, actually, that made it feel like the old movies or Stranger Things. That sort of,
it was like 80s feeling.
That's why I liked it. That's what I liked about it. And of course, you've got Paul Rudd, who's in it. He was brilliant. The kids themselves were fantastic. And I loved the whole build up to it, and I knew it was coming. I thought, but of course you knew at the start who that was. You instantly knew who it was, that it was good old not Venkman, Egon, good old Egon. And that hit me hard. You're just thinking, oh, Gozer and his minions, her minions, killed him. And it's great how it builds up that it's the granddaughter, and by the final act, it's just full on nostalgia overload at its best. And some people say, oh, nostalgia is too much, but it's no, it's not too much. This was just perfect. This was just bloody perfect. And it actually wraps everything up, doesn't it? Like, we had all the callbacks from the first film, the second film, and certain things. There was even certain, like, history repeating themselves. Like when they found Muncher, they say the classic line, like, there it is. So what do we do? Just like the first one. So what do we do? And I thought it was just amazing. And then
also, there was Ray, that last line, when are you a god? Yeah. I said, are you a god? And then Ray, and then Will's like,
just
get it right this time.
And you had like, I mean, I'll get to favorite moments. Like, you had Ivo Shandor finally make an appearance. The only time we got to see Ivo Shandor was in the video game of Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters, a video game for the Xbox 360. I guess now we work out why it gets ripped in half, because nobody were like, oh, he got ripped in half. I found it funny because I was like, oh, in the game, he tried to take over Gozer's role. So Gozer's obviously found out, just gone, you tried to take my role. But, and then of course you've got probably one of the best scenes ever, where the original team come back. I mean, that's how I love it when they do that. Like, even they've done it in like the Star Wars shows, Mandalorian, bringing Luke back like that. In this, they've brought the heroes back in their full glory. We all turned into the little baby Stay Puffs going, like them, and that's when they go,
like a lot of goosebumps when I saw them, like emotional goosebumps.
But they still stand up, don't they? They just still delivered the original team. And it made me want a sequel where it's now in New York City, the new generation's being trained by, Venkman, Ray, and Winston. And you just had all the actors back. It was just a fantastic movie. One of the best films I watched in a long while, actually, and probably the most I've cried at a movie. That whole final act, I was in tears. I was flooded in tears. I really was. I'll get to moments later, but
we all know who.
As soon as that certain scene happened, I just burst into tears. And
me too. I was trying to hold it back, but my girlfriend was like,
well done. Yeah, and it's so well done. I mean, technology today, how they like deep fake. What was it? Deep fake or face?
It was CGI, I guess, with some old DH technique on Egon's face.
And how they made it look like Egon and stuff like that was just bloody perfect.
They made it look like he was how he looked like, the last time we saw him, a little older, more badass, actually, because
it was just brilliant. Even Gozer. I mean, I'm glad they did Gozer again, like full on, and actually fight Gozer, because I kept thinking, is Gozer going to take another form? But it was great that Gozer just stayed in her normal form. It was brilliant.
Yeah. It was like, oh snap, that's the I was like, when I heard the music cues, I was like, Oh my
Yeah,
god,
the
they're going
music
that right.
when the music cues kicked in, if you don't know Ghostbusters, you'll be like, oh, what is this something big? But as a Ghostbusters fan, you just go, oh shit.
Especially when the woman was taken over. I was like, oh no. Gotta
Yeah.
get out. I was literally saying in my theater when I had that certain scene happen, I was like, just go the other way and run.
Yeah. But it had heart as well. There was a lot of emotional heart to do with Egon's family. You know, like he was always there. And I thought, he's going to pop up, isn't he? His face, he's going to appear. Like, you know, how you don't see him, but he's there trying to guide his granddaughter to say, I want you to be the next Ghostbuster, or your little friends to be the next Ghostbuster, helping her. And then his daughter, the mother, saying he never stopped thinking about her, even though he disappeared to try and stop Gozer from being brought back from the dead. You know, he always thought of it. I mean, it just had so much heart and a great soundtrack. I mean, the music cues were just so great. You know, as a lover of the old soundtrack, it was brilliant. So yeah, overall, incredible film, incredible sequel.
Especially this,
It really did justice, and it wrapped up. I mean, I'd hope they make another one. I do hope we get a follow-up. I'd love it to.
There's a post-credit scene, so they can do it.
Yeah, and it's passed, like it did well at the box office. It passed the amount, so they've got a chance to do a sequel, and it got well received anyway. So here's hoping. But you know what? This wrapped up everything. It was brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't do a sequel, it's
fine.
Tad into a nice.
Yeah, even the animated series. I'm a big lover, as a lot of you'll know. My favorite out of all the 80s cartoons, my favorite was Ghostbusters, the animated series, or the real Ghostbusters. And that was the only time you saw the car have the seat come out. So when they did that in live action, it was brilliant. I was like, oh, I remember the episodes of that. It was great. I loved it. I was freaking out going, we're getting a live action chair coming out the car.
Ethan, do you remember in the real Ghostbusters, the villain who was like a Dracula, but he would absorb you into his stomach?
Yeah, had a top hat and a big nose. And
yeah, that used to freak me out.
And he had a big cape, and he was a big giant guy. Like going, I would love it if they do a next one, if they do a fourth movie, since they've made references to the cartoon in this one, bring back some of the villains from the cartoon to team up, like the Boogeyman, the guy with a mouth on his stomach, you know, the top hat. Bring some of the old villains back from the cartoon and let's see them become live action. And they become the villains of the movie. That would be great.
That would be cool, you know.
Shall we give Craig a chance to do his?
Yeah, Craig, go ahead. It's so Craig.
Shut up.
Over to you.
I really loved the movie. I mean, it was really heartwarming. There was a great family connection. You could invest in the characters for the character build up. They got some wicked casting. The guy from It and Stranger Things. What's his name? Paul Rudd. He was good. I always think it's Ben Affleck for some reason. I get them really confused every time. But you know, they're probably both.
The one from Stranger Things is named Finn Wolfhard.
That's it. I mean, they're probably doing a lot of autographing, and they mistakenly getting mistaken autographs between each other. But that's fine. It helps their career. I love the little Stay Puft scene. It was a bit like Gremlins, you know, when the Gremlins go in the food mixer and stuff like that. That was just laugh out loud. And it was a really emotional ride. I mean, it really upset me at the end as well, which is really good because you know, I've been watching a lot of films lately, and I've had no reaction in a lot of these movies that have been, especially during COVID times. It's been pretty poor, apart from Spider-Man. But yeah, it was really good. I'm glad they stuck with they did nods to Ghostbusters 1, because I think out of Ghostbusters 1 and 2, I think Ghostbusters 1 is the scariest because of the werewolf things and Zool. I mean, she's freaky as hell, man.
Well, yeah, you can take that the other way or the other way.
And it was really nice. I don't know if anyone noticed, but do you remember is it a taxi driver in Ghostbusters 1 who's like a decaying corpse, but he made a reappearance in this one
Yeah,
as
it's the
well.
same guy,
Really?
it's the same
Yeah,
one.
I just love that. I was like, they've even brought him back, but I was missing the lady in the library, but that's okay. But I would have loved to have seen Rick Moranis, but I'm hoping he's in the next one.
He
Yeah,
doesn't
I
act
think,
anymore.
yeah, I think he declined. I think he was asked.
Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame.
Yeah.
But
It is possible
it was-
that he doesn't even act anymore.
Yeah, that's what I
Right.
that's what I said last time probably.
oh. And I was just thinking, yeah, I mean, I like all the Ghostbusters movies. I know the girl one gets a lot of slack, but I still quite like the finale of that film. But it was good that the old guys reunited, because that was what was lacking in particular
Yeah,
Ghostbusters one.
that movie. Yeah.
And yeah, it was nice to see Bill Murray. He's one of my favorite actors from the 80s anyway. So he's just a legend in his own right. But so it was just, and it was lovely to see Egon come back, and it was nice when he wasn't there, but he was in spirit guiding her through the garage. What Ethan was saying, it was a really good twist. Yeah, even the metal eating monster, he was quite cool. Reminded me of Slimer, but it's fine. You know, people are vegetarian nowadays, so it's fine. You know, so I would say it was really, really good. It was one of the better movies that I've watched this year, I think.
Yeah. Cool. To me, it just had a lot of heart. It's been mentioned. It's been mentioned. You know, it was like it was made for the fans. For what the fans wanted this for so many years. You know, they wanted the guys to reunite, and the way they got around of, you know, losing Harold was just amazing how they did that. I think it was two people playing him in this movie. I think one of them was Ivan Reitman.
It was Ivo's. It was himself and the director and.
With digital makeup, and using old scenery and stuff, scenes like that. But the way they did it was amazing. And as you say, for me, I agree what one of you said about it. It is slow to begin with.
Yeah,
It
but
is-
it's
Yeah.
building the character, not like.
yeah, it's a build of the story.
Yeah.
Me, I thought maybe it could have done with a little bit more humor.
Yeah, it was very dark for a Ghostbusters
yeah.
movie. Sometimes it was like, holy moly.
Yeah, I mean, the original Ghostbusters, there was humor, but it was so scary as well. But there was humor. But it was like when it came into the second half of the movie, the humor sort of picked up. So, you know, as soon as the originals arrived and that, it's like they've never been away.
Yeah, but the girl that played Ghoster was Olivia Wilde.
Olivia Wilde, yeah.
I was surprised with all the makeup. I was like,
Yeah, it's not the original actress who played her in the original film. Olivia Wilde, I think me and Susan reviewed a movie who she starred in. I think it was Cowboys and Aliens. She was in. We reviewed a few weeks back.
Yeah,
I like that movie.
exactly.
What it was.
Yeah. I mean, not a big role for her, really. Not a speaking role, anyway. Just look mean and evil.
Yeah, and evil. Yeah.
But just as you know, you have Annie Potts back.
Sigourney Weaver was in there, but it was post-credit scene.
The end credit thing with Sigourney Weaver and as you say, what's his name? Even J.K. Simmons was in it.
Yeah, I recognized him instantly. I was like, oh.
Yeah, so you blink and you miss it before he got ripped apart.
It ripped apart. Yeah, it was like, oh,
it was so funny, wasn't it? Because he's such a big actor now. When as we all did see his face, I was like, that's J.K. Simmons.
I think
and I thought, oh, he's gonna. And he's,
yeah,
I think him gone.
I think he did it because he's good friends with the director and stuff like that. He said, "Yeah, I'll do it."
Yeah, but it was also what the scary thing was that corpse was like bending his head in that case, like.
Yeah.
I was like, and then J.K. Simmons was like, "Oh, Gozer." Yeah.
Just to see the hellhounds again.
Yeah.
The effects of this movie, they haven't really moved away from the original effects. They've sort of tweaked them here and there, but I think they have used this similar style of effect.
I guess practical a lot also.
Yeah,
Yeah, there was a lot of practical. Like there's one shot of one of the hellhounds, probably Zool or something, one of them, where Paul Rudd sees him and he's eating the dog food, isn't he? And he goes, looks up. That's a practical effect.
Animatronic, I guess.
Animatronic, which, you know, I love it when they do that, when they bring animatronics. You know,
That's
it's
practical
real.
and CGI is the
real.
best way, yeah.
yeah. And also as well, the what do you call it? The temple of Gozer. It's so similar to what they did in the first one. On the top of the building, you know, the towers, the throne, all the white smoke.
But that I guess they have put because that movie this movie was supposed to come out in 2020, of course.
Yeah,
2021. Yeah, 2020. Right, excuse me. 2020, and then I guess they probably did like, yeah, oh no, it's now 2021. We have to change it to the last year, 2021, because.
Well, I suppose they had to release it at the end of last year because of the dating and everything like that. But there again, I don't think the cinema goers would have been that bothered.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have delayed it till this year. They might have got a bigger audience in the theatres. But it was a success anyway.
Depends which audience you like. Screaming kids, no. Yeah.
Hey, come on! Every seat's a book. So
that's true. But if you take your kids to Inception when you're 7 years old, I'm like, is that really a good choice?
I suppose I don't think 7-year-olds would understand Inception. So we're going to have an open floor now, and just you know, if you want to say something, but please don't talk over each other. Let's have a sensible.
Let me start. I really liked the fact that they included Wolf, whatever his name is. Let me see. Finn Wolfhard, because you know it really, you know, it made a sort of a continuum from Stranger Things set in the 80s with 80s feel, and this like having a lot of 80s feel in this, and Finn just kind of like from beginning to end, you know, his acting, you know, I don't even know who this kid really is, but I love his characters, and you know, he must just disappear into the roles because his face is there, but like everything is different about him, and he's just a great actor for such a young guy. He's just really got a lot of chops.
Yeah. You're talking about the characters there, Susan. As you was watching, I mean, you mostly all noticed when you was watching it, the 4 main young Ghostbusters were sort of taken from the original Ghostbusters, wasn't they? You had Phoebe, who was the Egon, even with the glasses.
Yep.
You had Podcast. He was the Ray character.
Yep.
You know,
That was a cool name.
Trevor
would have been the Venkman.
Yeah.
And you had what's her face? Lucky as the Winston character.
Yeah.
Yeah, Winston. Yeah.
All the characterizations were there because I was watching and I'm thinking, wow, it's just a younger version of the older guys.
Yeah.
Basically, it was. Yeah.
I like that. I thought it was brilliant the way they did that. Because when
The
I
other
was
was.
when I was looking at the McKenna Grace as Phoebe, I'm thinking, wow, it's so much like Egon.
Yeah. Or the other one was like. The other one was like. The other one was like the character that what's his name? You have Finkman, Egon. And you have that plays the Blues Brothers.
Dan
Aykroyd, yeah. That guy was exactly a younger version of him that goes all the way with that camera, you know. That was exactly like him.
Yeah.
Well, it's just great writing, and it's writing as I opened up this cast with a love letter to Harold Ramis and the fans.
That for sure was.
It was, and I think they did wonders with it. So carry on.
Well, if you take time with a movie, it can be good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just trying to think, like, there's just so many favorite moments as well. Like, we already said about J.K. Simmons just getting ripped apart. But I'll tell you, just when Bill Murray and all that come on, the build up to them was great. Like when Phoebe calls Dan Aykroyd, it was great. And when you hear about what happened to them, it is, hard hitting. They all disbanded and stuff like that. Yeah. And then as soon as she says, I'm Egon's granddaughter, and he's like, what? And of course, that's the click. He's like, oh, wait a minute. And just, I loved it when, they're fighting Gozer and stuff like that. And she played it really well, actually, Olivia, really well. I just loved it when you heard that voice. You knew who it was. Just, hey, flat top. And I thought, yeah. And then the whole cinema just went, whoa. And then when he goes, did you miss us? Yeah, we fucking did.
My cinema was a little bit with children, but me and my girlfriend was like, oh shit. Yeah. Oh snap. It was so cool to see Bankman, and all the other guys.
But it was just brilliant. They still had it, like Bill Murray just saying, to goes like an ex-girlfriend, like, I thought we had something, we could have been sexy, we could have been this. He's still at it at his age, like trying to hit on the women and like, listen. He's brilliant. He's just so funny. I mean, Bill Murray's one of my absolute heroes. But I loved that bit when they go, I think she remembers us. And I loved it when Gozer actually says, are you a god? Because she smiles as if like, are you a god? Like, because she remembers. And they're like, Ray, come on, you remember this.
Yeah, exactly. I love
that. We are gods.
And it was produced by Ivan Reitman and directed by Jason Reitman. Yeah. So, I mean, it really became a family affair, both on screen and off screen. It was, I really liked that family aspect of it too. That was,
they knew what they were doing.
Especially that last scene,
Yeah, that last scene just brings our family together.
You know what the cool part was? I was like, she was like, I was like that strong, but they didn't focus on the girl power, kind of, you know what I mean? Like, oh, she's very strong, but then suddenly out of nowhere, and my throat was like, tears.
Like, as soon as you see that hand, take her hand, I thought, oh, I burst into tears. And you see him, it's amazing. It was one of the best things you ever see.
And then that ending was also good. And it said that the ending, the last scene, the one scene before the ending was saying for Eagle, it was for Harold, of course.
For Harold. And you know what's really amazing about that is that Harold actually wrote, this was it was a script that he had written. And, he was given credit as the writer of this thing.
Oh.
Yeah. So, I mean, not only was it like honoring him and sort of channeling him and all that stuff that had to do with it was the reason that he invested so much in in the family life of his offspring was because he wrote it like as if it's his own family, and that's fun too. I mean, you gotta love.
Yeah, it was very good.
You gotta love that he was a good writer, and one of his last things that he did was this.
I'm glad Bill Murray sort of buried the hatchet with Harold before. Because they had a big falling out on the making of Groundhog
Day.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's awful.
He never talked to him for nearly 20 years, or whatever it was, 10 years, 15 years.
Wow.
But he went to see him just before he died, and Harold couldn't talk. He'd lost all power of speech by then. So apparently what I heard was Bill Murray was doing all the talking. But if he hadn't have, kissed and made up, I don't think you'd have had Bill Murray in this now.
Yeah, because they did the video game together as well. So I think it was around about that time they started to buried a hatchet.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
nearer the time of his death, that's when
Yeah.
they finally made amends, which is great that they did. Because in a way, I think that's almost like how it felt was written into this when they said they all fell out.
But yeah, well, this is why we never really got a Ghostbusters sequel after Ghostbusters 2 because of the falling out.
Yeah, because it should have. There was a script in 1991, right? That should be.
But this wasn't it. This was his own this was like putting it forth to the family. This was one of his last things. Anyway, go on.
Well, I've got this was written by Jason Reitman and Jill Kennan.
No, it was written by Harold Reitman or Ivan Reitman. No, sorry.
It was written by Jason Reitman and Jill Kennan.
Yeah. And I don't know if anybody stayed till right at the very end.
Yeah, I did.
There was 2 endings, which was great. You had the return of Sigourney Weaver and the classic card. What is this? Yeah. And he kept getting it right, and we were thinking, how's he doing it? You've marked the cards, haven't you? So he's getting a taste of his own medicine all these years later.
Yeah, I mean, I was like that. You was watching the credits, and
and Sigourney Weaver, I was like, Sigourney Weaver wasn't in this movie.
Where is she? And then boom, there she is.
I was like a little bit. My mind was like lame, but but the scene was good,
But it was great to see that they finally got married. They finally got married and stayed together after all this time. I thought finally they got married. The husband and wife at last.
Yeah, we wouldn't get married with Sigourney Weaver.
And then you had
she's looking good for her age.
She does. She looks bloody great for her age.
Well, Lee, if you ever change your mind.
Pardon?
That's rude, Kevin. Just don't do that again, okay?
But
all right.
you had that really lovely ending. There was a bit which was a deleted scene from the original.
Really?
Now, that scene where
Which?
Annie Potts at the very end, Annie Potts,
gets drink for Harold's character, right?
Name to accept Janine says to Bankman, no, I'm getting the fucking names wrong here. Janine says to Egon, here's the coin. And he says, like, listen, I can't take this because there's a chance. And when you see that, he's speaking the soul scientific talk. And she says, like, don't worry, I've got another one at home. And he takes it. That was a deleted scene from the original movie. Because I've got the DVD where it was a deleted scene. That was but they've obviously remastered it to make it look so clear, crystal clear. And you get to see what happened to the other coin. Winston had it. He got given to Winston, and now he's like a billionaire on his own company.
He's the one who was always backing Ray's inventions and getting Venkman out of rubbish. He's the one like even. And I loved it when they said Egon was the brains, Venkman was just along for the ride. Yeah.
Ray was the heart, and which one were you? Oh, I was the sexy one. I thought brilliant.
And then you see the, of course, the if you're going to that chamber, and then you see you can tell
the trap was blinking, and that's why you're thinking, what's that about? Who's coming out now? And that's why I thought, wouldn't it be great if it's like the villains from the original cartoon?
I guess they can
live action.
Maybe Ivo can also come up with, that big Titan guy from Ghostbusters too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that guy, the guy in the painting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could do another revisit, I suppose.
Yeah, I would love to see the Boogeyman from the episode Boogeyman Cometh, because that was such a creepy villain in the cartoon. The big blue mohawk. He looked like the Joker basically, but with hooves and a big head. And he's just coming after kids, going, "What have we here?" As a kid, I was like, Jesus Christ.
Oh man, if I hear the name the Boogeyman, I'm thinking about John Wick or Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Or Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Boogie.
Oh, that's right.
So, anything else what anybody like to say before we close this one with?
Well, if they need a little bit of advice, just buy the movie. Don't think about it. Don't watch any reviews. Just watch it on your own and form your own opinion.
And also as well, he's still got Ray Parker Jr.'s theme.
I know.
Yeah,
that's true.
he did. Do you know who I'd actually one thing I'd like to come back for the next film is Slimer, because of
Yeah.
course he was such a big part, and I'd love to see how, because he did, didn't he? You see him in the cartoon. He joined the Ghostbusters, and you still sort of got a bit of that in Ghostbusters 2, because he was always there, wasn't he? In the
Yeah.
fire station helping out during that.
Yeah, he
I
was. He was like their dog.
Yeah, I want to see him come back and like helping out with the Ghostbusters and the new team. And if some villain comes along, Slimer doing his classic.
Well, that could be with the flashing light at the end of it. That could be Slimer still in the.
Really?
Yeah,
That's a good one.
yeah. Question is, why has it been put in there in the first place? Because he always annoyed Bateman in the cartoon, eating all his food like Slimer. Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, the Muncher was based on Slimer, of course.
Yeah, of course.
That was a great design. And how he shot all the screws, he turns them into bullets, and it sounds like a machine gun going. Brilliant.
Apparently, he was voiced. I mean, he didn't really say much, but he was voiced by Josh Gad.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Really?
I didn't expect that.
He didn't say much. He just goes.
Especially when he's on that fire pipe, and then
We get
just his face.
we get Hollywood stars say, "We want you to, voice a ghost. All we want you to do is go."
Like
It must have
Olaf.
been it would have been like a scene from Bloody Toast of London. Just like.
And you know what's funny? It's like Josh Gad was recently did a whole bunch of reunion podcast sort of things, and he did the Ghostbusters one, which was freaking epic.
I saw that.
Made me cry. This movie made me laugh, made me smile, but that reunion was just like, that was what brought tears to my eyes, Ethan. I was just like, kind of beside myself when they were interviewed by Josh. Yeah. So anyway.
So, anything else before we move on?
No.
Right. Okay then. Alrighty then.
Alright then.
You say you missed your cue. We missed your cue.
Well, I better time it next time.
Yeah. Right. Final say and score then. Seeing as Ethan's there, let's go to you first.
Okay. Well, of course it's 10 out of 10 ghost traps. 10 out of 10 ghost traps, big time. And that was a great scene with all the ghost traps.
It was, yeah.
Finally defeat Gozer. Brilliant. 10 out of 10. Amazing.
Kevin, how about you?
For its value and for the I knew what kind of build up it was. Like I'm a sucker for 80s movies, like 90s. Hook.
You should join us more on the cast that we do from the 80s and 90s. Then, young man,
I will do.
You have been officially warned now on a cast.
Any more, and that finger's going to come through the screen.
Time stamp right now.
Oh well, no, but that movie was really good. The pacing was really good. For the movie, I was like, oh, it's taking a little bit longer, but it's just like Ghostbusters 1. Like the build up, and 2 also. And this is for me the official third one, not the remake Paul Fitch movie. They did it's not bad, but when it came out, it was very, oh, look, we have a new Ghostbusters movie because we don't want to lose the rights to the, Ghostbusters IP, basically.
Yeah.
But it's all right for what it was. But yeah, this movie is so good. Ending was making me cry like a baby. Doesn't happen that often. But this it was very good. Practical effects were really good, and now I have to wait till this movie comes out because you guys already got it. Not me either. I have to wait till March 2021, I guess. Well, yeah, this movie everything is good. If I only have to nitpick one little bit thing, is the Ghostbusters theme wasn't much used, but it didn't really need though because it's a new iteration of the team.
Yeah,
So
but you would use the Ghostbusters theme when the Ghostbusters were in action.
Yeah.
And the Ghostbusters was not really in action until the final act.
yeah, and the Ghoster music, but yeah, it's full on nostalgia. But it was good, not like the Matrix Resurrections.
Oh, I don't even know about that yet. But I really want to.
No, but it's a 10 out of 10.
Rightio. Craig.
I'll give it 10 ghost traps out of 10. It was a really good, feel good, nostalgic, emotional movie.
Cool. And last but not least, well, I'm last, but the penultimate, Miss Backstrom.
Okay, I'd give us 10 strange figures underground in a mine that just appear there because of whatever, and make it look like a temple in the middle of Oklahoma. Oh my gosh, crazy. Anyway, out of 10 of them.
Well, yeah, what I mentioned earlier, it did take a while to start. It was a bit slow moving to begin with, but then once it's hits the road running, you just get so involved with the nostalgia, bringing all these characters back. It just works so well. So for me, it's a 10. It's 10 buckets of ectoplasm out of 10. So that is our little review of Ghostbusters Afterlife. And hopefully, fingers crossed, they will make another one with the new generation of the team.
And if so, it's a good ending, right?
If not, it's a good ending to what they started out with in 1984. But hopefully there'll be another one, and maybe some cameos here and there from the older guys again. And maybe we could persuade Rick Moranis this time. So yeah, that's a little review. So I'd like to thank Craig, Ethan, Kevin, and Susan talking all things Ghostbusters. Really enjoyed the movie. You guys out there, please leave a comment below. Let us know what you thought of it. If you'd like to join us, message us. We're on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube.
We're everywhere.
We're everywhere. It's a slow, well-dominated. And talking of YouTube, if you'd like to receive notification of when we put up these said little casts, please press the bell notification button, and you'll get notified every time we put one up. And I think that's it. Is it? Oh yeah. As well, all we ask is you to be 18 plus, because sometimes we get a little bit heated. We swear a lot, don't we, Kevin?
Yes, a lot. But this time I hold my back. I held my back. I didn't use the words once.
No, I think the notes fucking mouth.
Well, there you go. I didn't see it this time.
Yeah, so 18 plus, it just helps us out, and we just ask you. You have a laptop, PC, tablet, phone, even, as long as you've got a working camera, and that's it. That's all we ask of you. So until next time, can we just say, who are you going to call?
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters.